Welcome back to the Booktroverts podcast. I'm McKayla.
I'm Meg.
In today's episode, we are talking about book 2 in the Kindred's Curse Saga, I think is the official name of the series, and that is Glow of the Everflame. We did a full deep dive on book 1, Spark of the Everflame. It is the last episode, so you can go back and listen to that one. Like always, these will include spoilers, so if you have not read the book and you don't want to be spoiled, pause and come back after you've read it, but that is your warning that we are talking about everything and anything that happened in this book, and depending on time we might split this into 2 parts, so you'll know already based off the title. We don't know where this is gonna go, so TBD.
TBD on everything that's gonna happen.
TBD on how long we yap. But let's just kick this off with the ratings that we gave the book. So Meg, I will turn it over to you first.
Easy 5-star. And I say that with a warning of the past couple of reads I've had have been 3s, barely 3s. This was just, I was so excited the entire time reading it. There's so much I can say. I don't want to get too into it because then I'm just going to completely go through my notes. But wow, just well done, Penn Cole. Well done. The whole entire book. I know it's called Glow of the Everflame, but seriously, the whole entire fucking thing glowed up. It was just so good. So there's my corniness, and I'm going to shut up and ask you for your rating as well.
Oh, also a 5-star. And for anyone listening, Meg and I do not rate the books on Goodreads until we talk about it on the podcast. I had to completely just bypass that like unspoken rule that we had because I was like, I need to put a review on Goodreads and people need to see my star rating with it. It is my second 5-star of the entire year so far. I was obsessed with this book. I read this so fast. The fact that this was like a 600-page book, whatever it was, I read this in like a day and a half. I could not put it down. Like 2 sittings I read this book in.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a 600-page book.
Not at all. Mm-mm. I am obsessed, and the whole time though I did laugh, and we'll talk about it as we go through the episode, but on the last one we were like, okay, next we're reading Glow of the Everflame, like, you know, the glow we're looking for, because there was no spice in book 1, and so like this whole book I'm like, yeah, where's the glow? Like, where is the post-coital glow? When is that happening? And we did not get that in this one. So it was glowed up, like you said, in all aspects, but it wasn't the sexual glow we were looking for.
No. We got glow in every other aspect. It was
literally every other aspect.
Every other aspect. It was wonderful. And then that was still just, oh my God, when is it going to happen?
I'm telling you though, if it doesn't freaking happen in book 3, I will be upset. But at this point, like I need it on a visceral level. Like yeah. This is a slow burn. I had no clue it was a slow burn series. Yeah. And normally I don't like these, but I'm like foaming at the mouth for it. Like, yep. I need it to happen.
And you know,
I need it just like Tara needs it to happen.
Yeah. Hold on, I need a second. The amount. Just like Taryn needs it. That's amazing.
Oh, he was on it with us.
Oh my God, he was on our side the entire time.
It was like 74% into the book, and he literally says, "When are you two gonna fuck?" And I was like, right. Yes, thank you.
Right, your homeboy Henry needs to fucking go. We need you two to bangy bang out there. Let's go and do this and save everyone. Yeah.
So, spoiler, did not happen in this book, but.
What can you
do? It better in book 3. Swear to God. But like we did in the last episode, Meg is going to walk us through the section. So we broke these up into like, I think 6 sections. She'll give us a little overview and then we'll talk about like what happened in those chapters. And it's fun because a couple things that we guessed in book 1, we were right about. In book 2, a couple things we were not correct about. So it'll be fun to talk about.
It was also interesting, I want to say on that too, is we went in to this book saying we don't have a crazy amount of theories or anything like that. It was just comments we had talked about when we did the recording, and then some of it, like you said, came true. I go, wow, we did not actually write this down as a theory or anything. It was just, I wonder if this is going to happen, or are we thinking into it too much or something. So
except we completely missed the boat on like, oh my God, book 2, it's going to be all about her mom. Where was mom?
Again.
Popped up. Epilogue queen.
Epilogue mom. That's it.
Oh my god, it reminded me of, like, when people say, like, cartoon mom, like the head's always cut off. Like,
Yeah.
she's epilogue mom.
Oh, it was so... I don't want to get into it because I'm gonna get...
She's a one-chapter wonder.
Yeah, we're done. She's a one and done.
I was shocked, though, when I was like, oh, we're picking up right where book 1 left off. And no one's concerned about mom anymore.
No, they don't care. The crown has shown up and...
They don't care.
Boo? We don't care about her.
Oh, my mom's gone. Okay.
Sorry. Yesterday's news.
So that one was funny. Like, we ended that episode like, of course we're getting mom in the next one. Like, it would be crazy not to.
It was crazy.
Call us crazy. I think we look like clowns.
Yep, we do. It's fine.
But it's fun.
It's okay. All right. I guess we can go right into it. So chapters 1 through 5 is... what we're saying is basically Diem's still in denial about being descended. Like you said, it literally starts as soon as the first book ended, so we literally are just jumping into it. I want to say she attempts to go into hiding at the Royal Hunting Lodge because of the fact that Lily is kind of trying to figure things out and help her out there. And then Luther shows up, our boy, and escorts her back to the palace to basically meet the entire Corbus house, which that whole dynamic of being cousins and everything's just really weird to me. But you know what? To each
They have a
their
wild
own.
dynamic.
Really weird dynamic. And I was still trying to figure out their family tree, and I might need a visual somewhere if someone has it. So
Yeah.
appreciate it if
So many
someone
people.
does. Yeah. So we meet a lot of people here, which I think is the key thing. But I wanted to jump to you and kind of see, was there anything that stood out to you specifically from the beginning piece before we get to the rest? Go ahead.
Starting right off the bat, our girl, I want to say, I love her in this book. I really love her in this book. But this was a little frustrating. Her stupidity from book 1 continued at the beginning of book 2 when she's like, there's just no way I'm descended. Like, I must be a mortal queen. They're like, bitch, none of the 9 realms have ever had a mortal queen. And she's like, maybe they wanted one.
This is my time.
And I just have to, we didn't really talk about him too much, but Teller, he's the perfect side character. Like, is doing his own thing, comes in when he's necessary, slays it when he's here, but like, he doesn't need his own book, Even he's like, yeah, no, like, you're tall like they are, you, like, your eye color. He starts listing all these things that are very much the traits of a descendant. He was like, so, like, I think you are. And then finally she's like, maybe you're right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
I don't even know how long it
the
took
crown,
until she realized it.
The crown on her head wasn't even enough. She's like, I must be a mortal queen. I was like, I want to shake you.
Yep.
But I loved, like, Teller's whole little part where he's just like, I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
Then right after that part, because Lily's here for all of this because she was coming to eat dinner with them, so she shows up like, hey guys, I'm here for the family dinner. I'm like, bad timing, Lily.
This is awkward. It's gonna back out.
Oh, crazy that the crown just like glows above their head. You can't take it off.
It's not a legit one. It stays. You could just...
So you can't hide it.
Right.
I thought she could like just take it off.
There's no
like,
hood or something you can put over your head. It's there.
It's just that, you know what it reminded me of? The godparents and Fairly Odd Parents. The little...
Oh my god.
They could never get rid of that.
I couldn't. I can't see that now. Oh no.
Sorry. Just Wanda and Cosmo.
Odd parents, fairly odd parents. Wanted.
Because it just it just hovers above their head, and they said it hovers like 2 inches above her head, so just important details. But Lily says to her, like, Lily is basically trying to push her towards Luther. First of all, Lily definitely knew that Luther is into her. We said this in book 1.
Yep.
But Lily says to her, like, if anyone can help you and can understand where you're coming from, it's going to be Luther. And that was a light bulb moment for me where I was like, oh, I said during the last one, like, do you think he could be half mortal? If he's so obsessed with saving these half mortal children.
Yeah.
such a throwaway comment for me. I didn't actually believe it, but I was like, maybe. And I was like, wait, I think he is. When Lily said that, 'cause I was like, what else would he, like, he's never had a crown that hovered above his head. He's never dealt with any of the stuff that she's going through. That's the only thing I think that they could relate on. So that was just interesting to me.
Yeah, and it also, I cannot remember at this point because we've read both, but he has mentioned it many, many times that he can sympathize a lot more with her than she thinks. And honestly, I always thought of, oh, maybe it's just because he's the not the most liked in the family, all that stuff. It's something specific that makes him unique or similar, but yeah, throwaway line that just comes back fast.
Yeah. So I like that this book, the Easter eggs, I feel like are a little bit clearer and easier to pick up on.
Yeah.
There's still a couple things that are surprising, but even there's like a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I kind of like maybe went down that path, but didn't think too serious about it. And then it ended up being that. So like, I'm not super caught off guard, but I actually kind of like it. So
yeah, me too.
That one was interesting. And then I want to talk about this, where Luther comes, he realizes that this is happening. They're at the hunting lodge, all that. And he's like, you need to go meet the family because she needs to can't even just say like, these are my friends, I'm going to align with them. She has to pretend she's in one of these houses, which was crazy. But he says to her, like, the one kind of disclaimer or like preparation thing he says to her is, do not tell them anything about yourself, your plans, your magic, because at this point she doesn't think she has magic, or he knows she does, but she has no clue how to tap into it. And then he says, and especially don't say anything about your mother. And he uses this especially. And so I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on with the mom? She's still super suspicious. I still, at this point, and just I'll jump ahead to the end of the book, like my thoughts, I still think she is the leader of the Guardians, like I said in the last book. But like, what does the people in his house know about her mom?
Right. Because we find out more about the fact that and I'm jumping ahead, but the fact that her agreement was not actually with the crown. There was never an agreement there. It was just her and
with Luther.
So what else do people know about her?
Yeah.
Are they not a fan of her?
But like, when she meets everyone, some people recognize her dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, are you associated with your dad? And she has to break this rule and be like, yeah. Because Luther was like, don't even let them know that you like come from mortals. They're not going to take it well. But no one mentions her mom.
No.
But he was like, especially don't tell anything about your mom. So it's like, is that because they know something about her mom? Or is that Luther trying to protect the fact he was working with her mom? I don't know what that angle was.
I know. And I'm really questioning if we get more now the epilogue mom has come back again for the second book in a row, is I wonder if we are finally going to get something from her and learn something, because there's more between their interaction during the epilogue. So I'm not going to get too far into it, but there has to be a reason why that line is said. It can't just be a throwaway line.
Yeah. And it's just because he says, especially your mom. Like, he's really putting emphasis on that. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like even just jumping through the whole book, we don't really have clarity on like what he was referring to. If I had to take a guess, I think I'm leaning more towards like protecting himself and the fact he was working with her.
Yeah, I think.
But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And that was like one of the first 3 chapters that comes up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the only other thing I had specifically was just because Luther really is a spotlight in this book. I mean, we didn't have enough of him in book 1. We have so much of him in book 2.
Oh, yeah. Obsessed.
And there were a couple parts where I actually said this is where we officially start to swoon over him and create, he's our newest book boyfriend. But one of the parts I just thought was so funny in the first section was he's super strict with the guards, and we learn more that he is the keeper of the laws and all that stuff. But it was so funny how I don't know if he grabbed her or whatever, but he did something and basically chewed out the guards for, I just touched your queen and you're not going to protect her. You're going to die if that's the case. You need to learn to do something about it. Here we go. This is instead of a touch her and you die, it's a don't protect her and you die. Like, if you don't save her, you're going to die. Loved it.
And it's funny because at the end of book 1, I was saying like it felt really abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
That has been thrown out the window. I mean, obviously, like now I know that he had feelings for her because of how that happened.
Yeah.
But nothing felt abrupt. Honestly, it felt slow. I was like, we could be going for more here. There's so many opportunities where I was like, could you just cross that line a little bit more? Could we get here a little bit faster? But again, 4-book series, she's building it up. But
yeah,
everything this man did, everything this man said, no notes. Like, if anything, give me more. He did not annoy me anywhere in this book. He was flawless.
Yep.
Nothing was where I was like, oh, come on, Luther. Like, no. Even when he was doing something you didn't, like, love, you knew why he was doing it. And you're like, I fully support that.
Oh, yeah. There were a couple times even where you just question of, I wonder what he's doing, because it might have not been told as much through DM's perspective and everything, but when you really find out the truth behind it, it's just, this makes it so much better of why you did this, and I love it so much. Keep doing it. Like you said, it did feel slower, and I think a lot of the reason why, we got a lot from the mortal side in the first book. This one was all descended, and we need to
and
learn
I realized the mortals
so
are
much.
boring as fuck.
Yeah, they don't do anything. There's no
I need to be with the descendants.
Yeah.
Who never, like, they live forever. I'm here for it. They're way more fun. They have so much more drama. I want a reality TV show on House Corbus.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And
like
then they
Kardashian
hang out with
style.
each of the houses and get a little, like, snippet here and there. Oh, my. Yes.
I want that.
You know what it is?
The dynamic was so good between all of them. I was like, I'm living for this. Also, with Luther, it was like the things he did, things he said, you were like, I'm eating this up, I'm obsessed with you. But then it was the way that the other characters talked about him to her. Like, they were all trying to convince her, like, just be with him. The way they spoke about him, I was like, I'm obsessed. Like, I like him even more.
I know. And Eleanor was obviously #1 fan of hers from the beginning.
Obsessed.
Loved her. But I really liked how she talked about Luther to DM. It wasn't Taryn very much was you need to be with him. It's gonna break him if you don't, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But Eleanor was very much well, have you considered this, and you're powerful in yourself, but he could really help out with that, and he knows this, and the way she did it was very much it was still in your face, but it wasn't as much of in your face as everyone else.
Yeah.
But I will say I liked how we got a small group of people that became a close knit crew in this book, because in the first one it did feel very much of just DM and Teller, and not that I had any issue with them, but it's just I like the additional people that we got, because you get a little more content, decent content too.
Same. Obviously there's a larger cast of characters now, but I liked that more core group that we get throughout the book of like, it really develops, and it's DM, Luther, Alex, Taryn, Eleanor, Lily, and Teller. Yeah. Like that, like core 7 group. I liked that. And I definitely think they'll be with us throughout the story unless something happens to one of them. But I like that we have kind of like this more close-knit group, but then we still have all these other characters that are very much still involved in the story. There was a lot of people introduced because we met all the houses, but there was one other part that we get in this little first opening section is they're talking about DM's eye color.
Yes.
And so we learn that the descendants in each of the realms have different eye colors based off of like whatever their lineage. And so they go over all the colors. And I felt it was a little weird when Luther seemed surprised when she said my eyes are gray, because I'm like, can't you see her eyeballs? I'm confused.
Yeah, I didn't know, because Lily sees her with the gray eyes when she has the crown and immediately freaks out. So
yeah, but I'm like, did her eyes change when she got the crown? But I thought, I guess her eyes are always described as pale in the first book. So like, are they like a pale blue? They went gray. I was
questioning if they were more defined gray, that
maybe
it kind of became into the power and she had more defined color. I don't know, because no one else mentions her eyes besides them being not normal for mortals in book 1. So this was very, like you said, it was a shocking thing in the moment immediately in the beginning.
If I was to do a reread, I definitely would try and look for that in book 1, because I was like, wait, hasn't he seen her multiple times? Wouldn't he have seen her eyes? Like, you can't really hide that. She's not wearing contacts. So I was confused by that. But then he makes a huge deal about it. Like, you have gray eyes. There's no way you're mortal. And then come to find out that is the eye color that Queen Lumnos had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when foraging day came, she gave her offspring blue eyes, but she kept her gray eyes. So, like, she's a direct descendant, reincarnation, not really sure, of this queen that Luther is obsessed with. Like, has a full bust of her in his room. He's like a loyal follower of her.
I understand having a shrine of sense of the fact that she literally, you know,
saved him.
But I just don't understand that specific part. And then obviously Dia mentions that she's seen this to like the entire family.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you've been in his room? Oh, okay.
Like, a poster wasn't an option. He's like, no,
right.
I'll have a full marble bust of her in my bedroom.
Yeah, that was very specific of him.
Yeah.
Very specific.
But I think that's all I had for this, like, first little, like, 1 to 5.
Same. Yeah, it definitely was got us through the weird section of, it was a good bridge between 1 and 2 in my opinion, and then this book started more on chapter 6 specifically, so the next section that we go into.
Yeah, it was helpful though, because we had said at the end of the last episode, like, what happens now? Does she just roll up to the palace and she owns it? Like, how is that transfer going to happen? So I really liked the way
Me too.
Penn Cole did it, like, where it like timed perfectly with Lily coming for the dinner. I forgot that was happening, or I thought that was like weeks later, like it wasn't that same day. And then Lily's able to call Luther, they're all able to kind of maneuver it, and then he's able to escort her and introduce her as the new queen. So I liked the way that was done, because I was so confused, like, she's just gonna walk into the front door?
Yeah. Hello, I'm here.
I'm
your
here.
new queen. Bow down, bitches. Like, I didn't know what was gonna happen there.
Hey, Saray.
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Your new owner.
I'm gonna fly you later.
Light these bitches up. I was confused how that was going to happen, so I liked the way that was done. Yeah, but I agree. The book really starts on like 6 is when the action starts.
Yep. Yeah, so this section, we started from chapter 6 to 15, and this is basically when Diem's at the palace, and it's everything leading up to the king's funeral. So, like we said, she meets the family and all that, but there's a lot that goes on when she is at the palace. So I have to ask you first, because this was one of my first comments, is what are your thoughts on Aemon? Because he's complex in my opinion, and I wanted your thoughts.
He's complex. Yeah. My radar went up the second he entered the page, because I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now, later we find out he is the one that Henry saw run over that child.
Yeah.
Diem is under the impression it's Luther as the keeper of the laws. So, like, we get that. Now, in the beginning, did not connect that. Like, I wasn't thinking that far ahead, but I definitely was just like, he seems like he's looking for something. Like, this does not feel genuine to me. Like, he might want to be her friend, but he's looking to get something from her. I just had that feeling. Like, he's a clout chaser. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, he wanted something from her.
Yeah.
Because he was just showing up too often, and he just is manipulative.
Yeah.
Even later on, when, you know, he was going to escort her to the ball, then she was going to go with Henry, he caught them, and then he's like, well, this is what we need to do to cover this. And then he tried to be like, no, Luther told me I had to do that. He was just like slimy.
I'm with you 100%.
Did you pick up on that right away from him?
Yeah, so I did. Yeah. And then I wanted to know, I weirdly figured it was him who killed the boy that Henry saw.
Oh, you knew it in the beginning.
Yeah, because
good job.
The reason I know, I kind of was shocked at my own geniusness in that moment.
Own it.
I'll take it.
Brilliant.
But what was the reason why I thought it'd be too obvious if we went Luther, because then it gives Diem something to really not like him for, because the whole thing that she keeps fighting is her attraction to him versus her wanting to be with Henry still. But at this point, we are fully at the point where Henry just wants to be with her at this point to be king. He could not care about her. He was disgusted when he saw her at that point at the palace and was just not okay with the fact that she was one of them. It's not always two sides. There's probably a blend in the middle, and it's a Venn diagram of sorts where there's a group who actually likes everyone and doesn't want the harm that keeps happening, but the two sides keep fighting. And we had mentioned that in the first when we did the first book. But yeah, it was just, I knew Aemon was very suspicious, but as we kept reading, I really think he does want to be friends with Diem. I just don't think he can get past his sneakiness as well as his own past that happened with his family, because there's a lot that we find out we find out pieces about what happened, but
oh my god, fucked up childhood.
Yeah, 100%. So I just think that there's a part of him that wants to be in with the cool kids, but then there's also a part who just hates that and wants it specifically to be king. So I
think you make a really good point. He definitely has his slimy tendencies. But yeah, I think part of him does want to be friends, because I think maybe he feels like all of his other relationships are really transactional,
right,
or maybe more surface level, or they all already have this bad outlook on me and they assume bad intentions for me. Right. So this was a clean slate. But then I think, probably maybe more as a defense thing. It's easier to slip into those bad habits. And then once he realizes that she has seen that from him, he goes full villain mode.
Yeah. I think there was only one point that he tries to warn her about something, and then she doesn't want to give him time of day, because she goes, no, you just played me like a fool. I'm not doing this with you right now. You can go with your father and your uncle and go to that side of the room.
He was just always popping up. He was just hiding behind corners, and he'd be like, can I escort you? I'm like, go away. As the reader, I was just annoyed with him, because I was just clearly you're interrupting true love. Get the fuck out so I can get to my spicy scenes here. Yeah. I literally started Googling, is this a YA book? I'm so confused. It's not. It's an adult. But
it needed to be more adult.
Yeah. But no, the horse thing, honestly, it didn't click for me until when does she see the horse for the first time? I think it's when she's going to the funeral.
Oh, the funeral, yeah.
And that's when it clicks, oh my god, Luther's one. And I was like, no. Luther would never.
Yeah.
I would have been really shocked if it ended up really being him, and that was this moment where he had a change of heart. I don't know, but that to me, I was like, there's no way. And then I was like, oh, probably Aemon, but I didn't think of it until then. Honestly, I was like, oh, maybe it was Remus or Gareth, because I hated both of them.
Yeah, same. They were trash as well. That whole the extra people that we have that aren't in the core group, I'm not a fan of, but they're there for a reason. So I understand why they're a part of this book, but man, do I just wish some of them were not involved and they would just go away.
They're going to become less important. She's cutting them all off. She's bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not coming in.
Yeah.
This is where we get Eleanor. We get introduced to her, and I love that she was the first person given an official title.
I know.
In the council, and she gets picked as the advisor, and she's so caught off guard. Honestly, it will break my heart if she ends up being a backstabber, if she's two-faced, because I was a little hesitant with reading it, because I was like, she's too good to be true. She's gonna have some villain origin story at the end, and it's gonna break my heart. But she did not. Throughout the whole book, she stayed very loyal.
Yeah.
And I really hope it stays that way. I'm hoping it's a Rhea and Violet thing from Empyrean series. We just need her to have one person, a steady person in her corner. And it was just so sweet. Eleanor was just I'm really not looked at as important in the family, because it's their dynamics are so interesting. It's based off of your magic level and what you can contribute to advance the house in society.
Yeah.
And if you can't be married off to someone, if you can't you're not the strongest with magic, you're just nothing. And depending on how low you can go, they'll just send you to live on the outskirts.
I know.
In the unhoused. They just kick you out of the family.
That was wild to me. That actually shocked me, and even down to some of the all of the servants and people who work there are family.
Yeah. Family.
It's either you work here and cook us food or you are unhoused. What?
Crazy.
Wild.
It was crazy. And they live long lives, so you're doing that job for a long time.
Yeah.
It was wild, but she was so sweet and she was so appreciative and she was so caught off guard like me, and she's like, yeah, because from the beginning she was just honest. She just gave her the truth. And I thought that was a really good move on Diem's part. And she was like, I need someone who's just gonna like tell me how it is, tell me who to avoid, tell me what to talk about, tell me what to do. Like, I have no clue what's going on. And like you said, I think Luther is that person to her, but she was fighting her feelings. So she was trying not to have to spend all that time with him and rely on him. But I love Eleanor. Yeah,
me too. And I think it's also wonderful for her as a character in her growth in the book, because she's still unsure and still feels that, you know, weakness in a way, because I mean they've been alive for how long at this point, and she's always been told that you are weak and you will not be able to do this unless it's approved. And so I understand that's not going to change within a couple months that Diem is there, but I really like we see her growth and stand up for herself, and she does take that strength back and say, no, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I am going to fight with this one right here, because she stands for the good of everyone rather than just us versus them situation.
Yeah, it was so sweet. I will be crushed if something bad happens to her or we find out something completely different about her personality, because I just love her to pieces. And even when she messed up, she was just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, and Diem was like, it's fine, it's a learning lesson for both of us. Like, it's cool.
Exactly.
I love it. And something important to note is this book takes place over like a 2-month period.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember what chapter. It's definitely the beginning though. Diem is going to Luther being like, okay, could you please tell me, like, where the fuck is my mother? And he was a little frustrating on that part, but like, he does tell her, you know, if your mother doesn't come back by year end, I will take you to her. And she says, cool, that's just 2 months. I have to wait. So this is all actually probably less than 2 months. Yeah. 30, 40, probably like 45 days.
Yeah, I think so, because the time between...
It's 30 days that they have to challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, probably about 45 days is probably accurate.
Yeah. Crazy. A lot happens in a month and a half.
I know, right? You think of my time in a month and a half, it's nothing happened. Yeah. Compared to this. Yeah.
Same. Well, maybe I'm jumping ahead of where you are, but Luther does make a comment about her mom and says that basically he's like going off about this whole thing, and he says that he saw her mom spying in the palace for information. And I think this is when we find out like more about their bargain that they had. Yep. And he's saying like, you know, I'll bring you to your mom. And so again, I just flagged that as like, okay, what are you spying for? What are you looking for information in the palace for? Guardians. Yep. I'm like convinced she's the leader. And if she's not, I'm going to be so surprised.
I also will be curious if she isn't, who is?
Then who is?
Can I just make a really unhinged suggestion of who I
go for it? It's probably gonna be true.
The
Queen of Umbros.
Yep. Because her power is able to be used within a different realm, and it's not supposed to be. So they're not supposed to have powers in the other realms. Yeah. But hers is totally fine. I don't know if the queens and kings are exempt from that rule. I thought that they weren't, but
no, they weren't, because when they get to the ball, she has to do something. I forget how she does it. To let them be able to do it. And then he's like, you know, everyone will know and they'll report it back to the queen. Yeah. But then, we find out that old woman who we said was going to be important, glad we called that. Yep. We find out that was the Queen of Umbros, and Luther was shocked that she was there and that she was able to do shit. But like, I did not connect that. Like, that was her using her magic.
I didn't either.
So that's a good point. It could be her.
Yeah. The only reason, I don't know, because she seems too suspicious and too excited with DM
She was
being
pumped at the end
so happy. So happy.
at the like coronation thing or whatever on that random
Yeah,
island.
exactly.
She was pumped.
Yeah. So I'm going with one of the two of them is.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of her, but that would actually be a really good option
Yeah.
too.
But Orly's
I
definitely.
might actually like that more because the mom feels so obvious now.
That's why I was wondering, is it someone else that we know that we just haven't interacted with a lot that, you know, might be trying to be going for something bigger than just the Guardians? Because Luther claims that the Guardians are kind of stupid, which we actually, it's not a claim. It's pretty much fact. So
They're so stupid. And I just love that, like, which again, I like how we like try and like stick to the chapter. It's too hard. I have to read other things. Even the mortals are annoyed by them. They're like, they're blowing up ports. It's fucking us all over. Could someone fix this? They're hurting everyone now.
they're not thinking.
They've lost their plot.
Rage. Yeah, there's no plot.
They're just going crazy. They're like, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're going here, we're going there.
Yeah.
And that was so funny. The mortals, he's like, they blew up the port. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. It's backing everything up. And I'm like, you're literally screwing your own people over that you're supposed to be fighting for.
Right. What are you trying to do here?
So dumb.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just good idea, but no execution. There was no follow through
like,
at all.
Oh my god, it's like the dumb leading the dumb. I can't.
Switch, I guess, gears within this section was Remus specifically, because we get a couple on, and it obviously is a threat, but
You had favorite lines from him?
yeah, I know. Let's just leave that for a moment of maybe insanity over here. But I literally put in my notes, not a fan of him, of course, but it's well done. So he said, "It isn't the Corvus name alone that wields such influence. It's the depth of our relationships across all 9 realms, the many enemies one stands to make if one dares to cross us." I just love this line because I know he's using it as a threat towards DM to not go against Corpus and to claim this is your house and that we have a lot of protection for you and everything, but it really is a huge foreshadowing of the fact that she's looking to destroy everyone.
Oh yeah, she's like, good, I'll join the highest one so I can take you all down from the inside.
Exactly, yeah, I'll take them from the top down at that point. And I love that part because we then literally jump in, I don't know, maybe a chapter or 2 later that the two of them are doing that bonded bargain, which that was interesting. I was getting suspicious. I actually had to go back and reread what they agreed on because I said, I think this is going to come back and bite her in the ass.
I thought the same thing. I thought she was the one. Me too. And I was like, nothing's really coming of this. And then when she mentioned it to them, I was like, okay, so it was right of me to like feel like, because he went on that whole spiel about like the bonded bargains and like, you know, you'll lose your magic if you break them. And I was like, okay, clearly like this is intense.
Yeah.
And I was worried. I was like, oh, he just gave you this whole thing. Why are you making an agreement with him?
Yeah.
I also really don't like the term bonded bargain. I wish it was like bonded agreement or something.
I almost said agreement in that entire sentence when I started. Yeah.
It doesn't flow naturally when you're saying it. It's fine when reading, but saying it out loud doesn't flow naturally. Yeah. So I was so nervous the whole book. I was like, oh. I was like, right when she masters her magic, it's gonna get taken away. Then she's gonna be like this magicless queen. Like, what are we gonna do? I thought that was gonna be the conflict for book 3 was her having to be the queen with no magic.
Yep.
So glad when it backfired on him.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to figure out because it's giving very unbreakable vows type situation.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought about.
I said, okay, so if it's broken on one side, can you still break it from the other side and both be doomed? Or is it once it's broken once, that's it, it's done? Because my thing is it specifically was said, you can agree to claim House Corpus for the length of your reign, and in exchange we will not challenge against you. I want to specifically mention you will stay in this house for the end of your reign. Yes, we know that her and Luther seem to be the end goal couple of this situation, and if not, wow, we have taken for a loop, here. But what's interesting is her actual father is from a different area, for sure. What house or realm is he from? Does she even claim that? Or because she is what they keep calling it, a daughter of Forgotten, the destroyer of realms and all of that. Is that
what if she's from a completely different realm, like this 10th realm?
Right. Who knows?
It was just wild though that they were like, you have to pick us, and we're gonna find like a random cousin that you can just technically say that they like they birthed you. It's gonna be all good. You've been in hiding.
Right. Oh,
What? It was crazy.
Even down to, her having to play this, flighty girl who just whatever, who cares, doesn't care, I'm just around and I have no power, I'm not great or anything. And she obviously has some type of power if she takes the crown over Luther, when they specifically had been noticing that he was going to be the next one to be it. I don't know what you expect, but
yeah, no, I'm glad we were both on the same page with that.
Yeah, me too.
Bargain. We also find out, or like this is kind of when we first get introduced to Ilana, however you want to say her name.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated her the second she walked on the page. I was like, ugh. But it wasn't the hate I have for Henry. It was just more like, ugh, my God, of course he had to have some other girl in the picture. Like, she's just going to be a thorn in our side.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be that petty mean girl. Like, you took my man. I'm going to be annoyed. We got to watch what we're drinking around her. She's going to poison us. Like, I'm so annoyed. But I think it's Eleanor. Either Eleanor or Lily lets it slip. Like, oh yeah, like her and Luther used to be a thing. They were totally getting married.
Yeah.
We just all knew that they were going to be together. And they're like, he broke it off like a month ago. I wonder why.
Wonder what happened a month ago.
Wonder what happened a month ago. And that's where I was like, I'm down bad for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like this girl, like how many years has he been alive?
I don't know. They don't talk about their age, and it's wrong. It's wrong to ask about your age, apparently.
Yeah, I'm like, how old are you? How long have you been like in this kind of non-committal relationship with this woman?
Right.
Like 80 years? I don't know. Are you 80? Like, how old are you?
Is it just a couple of years? Is it just recently? And I can totally understand her annoyance with the fact that a new person comes in and he's all smitten and everything, and I was supposed to be the queen and this was supposed to be how it goes, all of that.
She doesn't actually like him.
She just wants the crown.
Wants to be queen. But it's like, that was the part that was foolish to me though. So I'm like,
yeah,
why are you still like so angry? He's not the king.
I know. My only thing is I think she was hoping that Dean would die and that he would take her back immediately and say, okay, well, I guess you're the next best thing to,
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, she got more desperate when later on her house is like, let's make a bonded bargain that you'll marry her. I'm like, you're this desperate?
Yeah. He doesn't want you. Maybe.
Why do you want to be with him?
You're probably never going to be mates either, because you'll make the bond and he won't, and then you're just going to be sad.
Then you're going to be stranded
the whole time. Oh, woe is me.
Literally.
I can't love anyone else.
Literally. Oh my goodness.
My God.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, so I guess we can move on to the next section. So we jump into chapter 16 to 23, and this is the king's funeral as well as the post-funeral in preparation for the Ascension Ball. And that was a lot of a tongue twister for me in this moment, but basically we just have a lot that goes on both at the funeral and afterwards that we have to talk about. And I just have to start off with her going out with a bang, or arriving with a bang, and the fact that, is it Soiree?
That's what I've been calling her.
Yeah, okay. The Gryvern basically is, shaking her head. No, wrong dress to pick. But, whatever. You do you, honey, because you obviously think you know best. And she shows up as she would for a mortal funeral in black, which apparently is a very bad thing for the Descendant. And they're all in red. Red. Vibrant red. I could not stop laughing. I go, oh, she totally fucked this up quick.
It was so funny though, because like she held up a red dress and the Griffin was like, yes.
Yeah.
And she was like, it was like a scandalous red dress.
Right.
And she was like, oh, would it be funny if I wore this just to piss them off? And she's
yeah.
Like, little did you know, like, that's important. And then it was so funny when everyone was like, what's going on? And Eleanor was like, I'm so sorry, I should have told you. And she's like, what's the big deal? Like, whatever. And they're like, yeah, we didn't want anyone to know you're mortal. You're blending in with the mortals.
Right. You would just have a massive sign above your head on top of the ground that says, I am mortal, and I go with them instead of you.
She's like, here I am wearing this like conservative black dress.
Right. Can't look
Also, it was
scandalous
just
at
like
a funeral.
I love Sarai. She doesn't talk, but how she's like, we can feel each other. I'm like, just picturing when I was reading that, it's like, that's like me changing and like Kobe being like,
No.
pause up. Like, it's just making me like, why are you relying on this animal to be your stylist? What you did? And also, when she's going to the funeral, like, didn't she see anyone? No one stopped her, like, hey, you shouldn't wear that.
Right, and then obviously this is where Eleanor
like, why did
feels
no one
bad,
escort her? Like, why did Eleanor, Luther, no one escorted her to the funeral.
No one talked to her beforehand. It was just you need to basically fly in because you're the new crown or whatever. And what an entrance!
It was crazy.
What an
no one,
entrance.
also like no one confirmed that she like knew how to fly this animal.
Right, they just said, "All right, figure it out in a dress." This is great.
Oh, it was crazy. That was so funny too. And they were like, if anything, black was the worst color you could have worn. It's like it was something bad. Like we like, I don't know, condemn their soul to something.
Yeah, it was very
something
specific.
bad.
Yeah, it was not good. There was nothing good about it. And oh man, I could not.
I even
stop
just
laughing.
love like Luther and like honestly the whole crew just being like, it's really not that bad. Like anytime she messed up, Luther would be like, it's not that terrible. And she's like, okay. And he's like, it's just this. And she's like, it sounds pretty terrible. He's like, I mean, it is pretty terrible, but like, we could get you out of it. It's fine. He's such a gem. He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, actually, it is really bad, but don't worry. I'll take care of it.
And and this is where I started to love Terrence's character. It's just
he's so funny.
He's
the comedic relief.
Yeah, he is, and it just
he's the
perfect.
Riddick.
He is. He really is. He is with the JBL speakers jamming out to his music.
And when we finally get a spicy scene, he will be playing "I Just Had Sex."
Yes.
You know it.
100%. 100% gonna be that one. He's gonna be outside the door just waiting for any noise. That's where he sleeps at night. It's just in the hallway.
Oh my god, too funny.
Yes. Oh man. No, I love it. And we also find out too through I think the funeral part is basically that there are mates in this world. And what was interesting, this is totally a different version of how it works, because I know we alluded to it earlier about where one side bonds, which is called a stranded mate, which is interesting. So if you were, I'll mate with you, and then, oh, sorry, I don't like you that much, so you're going to be stranded. You can't love anyone else for the rest of your life. I'm going to go out and fuck everyone else, have a grand old time. Like, what? Yeah. Crazy to me.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned in the last book, you were like, I think that they're alluding that they're going to be mates. Like the way he kind of could predict things about her. And you had said like the Rowan thing. So you were right on point with that, because 100% they're giving us like this whole backstory on how mates work. Like, of course she's going to have a mate. Like they wouldn't have told us that.
Yeah.
I was so sad about the king, about how he had a mate. And then they killed his mate the second he got the crown.
That was terrible.
And he didn't go and meet anyone else, because you can't, like, your mate is your person, and once they leave,
that's it.
No one else.
Yeah.
And then they were like, marriage we don't care about. It's just an exchange of vows and rings. Yeah. We'll marry for like political gain. We'll marry for whatever. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then we'll break that marriage and we'll marry someone else. Like, who cares? It was so like lackadaisy, which I was fine with.
Yeah.
But like they definitely are going to become mates.
The fact too that their magic can sense each other, and because we don't get any ounce of that with anyone else in the group, and we find out that she's obviously sparring with others, trying to get that magic going, but none of it speaks to each other and feel each other's magic. And it's just
she can always sense him in the room.
Always.
And later in the book, we find out your magic cannot hurt the person you love.
Yeah.
So, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. You have to purposely tell it to do something, to have it do harm, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. The mate thing was crazy, though. I think it was Eleanor telling her. She's like, most of the time, like, you would make the decision together to, like, it's like a test you have to do almost. Like the mate test. It's not just like, hey, you're my mate. No, you have to like take a test or whatever the fuck it was. And which is so, there's so many things in these books that I'm like, oh, okay, she definitely got inspiration from that. This is so Zodiac Academy coded. You don't get to choose your mate. All of a sudden, the stars will like pull you, and all of a sudden you're just like walking in like a field. And then you're just like standing next to them, and then the stars will be like, so you two are mates. You gonna accept it or not? And if you do not accept it, you're star-crossed, and you can't be near each other. It's like a whole thing. So the concept was similar to Zodiac Academy in that point where like you have to like test it to get it approved to be your mate. And it was crazy to me that when she was like, oh yeah, some people will just like, normally they'll agree together to do it. But some people are like, I think they're my mate. Let's do it. And I'm like, you're just doing, like, imagine it comes back, yeah, you are. And this person's just like, I did not agree to this. Yeah. Like, I like you. I don't want to be stuck with you and no one else.
Right. Just do the marriage thing like you talked about and just say, okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. And maybe if
honestly,
we do.
I don't know if I would do it in this world because they lived for a long time. And after hearing that story about the king, how they just went and, because it seems like this goes on a lot during this challenging period where people are just getting killed over the crown. I'm like, I don't think I'd want to do that.
No, I think it would have to come out after that I'm already in.
Yeah, it's one thing if you were like, oh, this is just like who I'm married to, because it seems like that's very run of the mill. Like they don't really hold a lot of weight with marriage. But I don't know, I feel like the second you say like, this is my mate, it's like that becomes your weakness almost if you're in a position of power. So I am curious. I mean, I definitely think they're going to be. Yeah. And they're going to do it. But like, I'm curious the impact that will have on the storyline because.
Agreed.
It just puts a bigger target on both of them.
Yeah. And the fact, too, that they're both the, top
most
1
powerful.
and 2 powerful of the group. So it's going to be very interesting of, if you get one, you could get rid of the second one. It's a 2-for-1. And then, know, whoever
very
might be
Violet
third.
and Xaden coded.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. But I will say, I obviously hadn't read Zodiac Academy, so for me it was really cool how the mate thing worked. Not that if I read it, it wouldn't have been
honestly,
cool,
I just connected it right now. Like, as we were talking, I was like, oh, that test. And I was like, wait, they had to do that in Zodiac Academy. But I like how this one was explained a little bit more. I love the pacing of the world building.
Me too.
So it's easy to follow.
So nice.
Very
and you know
well.
what? I know we're still in the same realm and everything, and I was wondering if we were going to go to a different one, but we're still in the same. But it does feel like 2 different worlds because of how split they are. And it's funny because when you look at the map, it's literally just 2 cities that are near each other. But
and on Team Fuck the Mortals, they're so boring.
Oh my god.
Also, did you think it was crazy that like mortals were at his funeral?
Yeah, that was interesting. So obviously,
because that's how her dad found out.
Right.
And how Mora found out that she's...
Yeah. Which was interesting because I understand she's the healer and maybe wants to go and pay her respects and everything. And there's definitely some good mortals that don't mind if they're descended or, someone's descended or not. But there has to be more with the king, especially for the fact that Luther stayed so good throughout his life because his parents are shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like there has to be something there, but...
Yeah. And they really didn't, they just gave us like that quick little backstory on him, and then we haven't really learned anything else except for, I mean, I guess the king probably knew that Luther wasn't fully completing or upholding the laws.
Right.
And maybe just turned a blind eye on it because, like, I don't know, he probably was just so heartbroken. But
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Also, I think before the funeral, or it might have been afterwards, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like when Henry shows up at the palace,
that was,
and they like get it on.
Oh yeah, that was before. Yeah
Okay, just wanted to point out on that, like, I fucking hate him.
Oh yeah,
like, disgusted by her, and then, which, you had said this already, disgusted by her, and then very quickly wheels start turning, like, oh, I could just be the king.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in it. Like, yeah, let's get married. Let's do it. I was like, I hate you so fucking much.
Yeah, and that
I hate him.
I just...
And he did not come to the funeral. Thank God he was not really in this book.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to read about him. but it was good because it like led to her decision. But I did think it was interesting that her dad finds out for the first time at the funeral that she's the queen, because they make her go down and they're like, okay, you have to do magic to light the thing on fire. And she's like, how the hell am I supposed to do this? Like, my magic does not work. So then that's when they like the whole thing goes to like, she doesn't have magic, and the rumblings through the houses. But the dad sees her, he's pissed. I was kind of surprised that Henry didn't run to her dad and tell him.
I was shocked too, but I don't know if it was I really think a lot of it was he had so much going on with the Guardians that he just was not the same person.
He ran to them.
Yeah, immediately, because it started putting in a bunch of plans down the line that, but yeah, to your point, I don't know, it was weird. That seems like a little bit of a, we're gonna keep dad busy in the woods, hopefully no one interacts with them that has seen you, and then when you want to tell him, you can let him know.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, like 3 or 4 days is when they have to have the funeral, because they were trying to make it longer, but they were like, we have to pump it up because someone spread the word that he's dead.
Yeah,
I mean, they did get into that fight where she was like, I'm leaving, but yeah, like he didn't question like, where have you been for 3 days, 4 days? The brother held it in. I just like, I was kind of surprised that the dad found out there.
Yeah, it was very weird. I understand it. It helped with the story of her not having, the rumors and everything with her not having the magic and stuff. But yeah, it was just a little bit odd how that's how your parent finds out who, yeah, you're supposed to be super close with. I don't know. Yeah, it was very weird. I have to say that there was one line in here that I think it was actually when she was supposed to light up the whatever at the funeral, was Luther talking her through it. I just have to bring this up because this is really when he just started, top notch. He said, "Blessed Mother Lunos chose you for a reason. She saw who you are and what you can be. Prove to all of them what she and I already know. You are capable of this and so much more. Unleash my queen. Show the world what it means to challenge Diem Bellator." Literally was just, oh my God, he is the reason that she is strength. And we talked about it, I think, in the first book, was, I think it was someone had said, don't settle for a man who's kind of just subpar, not going to be there for you. Have someone who's
the owner of the brothel.
Yeah, the brothel. Yeah. It's have someone that's going to be there by your side. And literally Luther is just 100% that person. Every single section had
everything.
Him.
Everything. He's giving her a pep talk. And this is jumping to the end, but I loved when Teller finally just gave it to her, and he was like, where the fuck has Henry been? Like, where has he been since our mother left? Where has he been since the dad died? We're getting to that part. You're getting your crown. Where is he? He's nowhere to be found. He sucks. And I was like, thank you, Teller.
Yep. Oh yeah, just amazing sibling. Just
he was like, I'm done putting up with this. You can't make your own decisions. I will make them for you.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna get your head out of the clouds and start thinking normally.
I have to say though, oh my God, it was so sad when she, sorry, this is like jumping back to the beginning, but when she like fully accepts, okay, yeah, I am a descendant, and then she starts being like, oh, I'm gonna live this really long life, hopefully, and she's like, I'm literally gonna have to watch my brother die.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was so sad. She's like, I'm just gonna like have to watch them get older and not be here anymore. And I was like, oh, I want somehow, some way for them to be able to make Teller a descendant.
Okay.
I really want it. Like, is there a cauldron we can throw him in? Like, I just want it to happen. And I was so sad. I don't know why. Oh. Again, I have no clue what point of the book this was for me.
Yeah.
Or this, like, I started thinking this. But at some point, I was like, maybe he is. And he doesn't know it yet. Like, I was really, really hoping. But then, like, they do something in it, like, very clearly he's mortal. But I was like, maybe he was taking some secret potion on the side. Like, I'm so sad. I want him to be a descendant so bad so that he can stay, because like also it's just like him and Lily, I can't.
Okay, can I just like throw in my hot take here of what I think is gonna happen?
Yeah,
I think Lily's gonna pull very similar to the Kindred's group and give up her immortality
to be immortal,
to be with him is my
that'd
assumption.
be sweet too,
which I think is adorable, but I would love if they went the opposite way where they live forever. But
yeah, let's live forever with the group.
Yeah, I could see her giving up for
the
him.
two of them are 100% going to be together.
I love them.
I'm obsessed with them.
Love them. And I love how we get so much about them, but it's not right in your face all the time. It's just these
not
random
taking away
sibling updates.
Yeah, you're not like, okay, I really don't care. Can we get back to the main programming?
Right.
It's done really well, but that was so heart-wrenching.
I wrote that in my notes and go, I can't. I really don't like this part.
It was too much for me.
Yeah. I had to ask you because there was one part that specifically I wanted to add. Actually, two parts. Because Luther wrote a note to Diem's father, Andre, at some point.
At the end of book 1.
Right. They don't talk about what was in the book, but her dad mentions of, he,
the letter he left me.
Yeah. What did he say?
We're never going to get it because she blew the house up.
Right. So then Luther's going to be the only one who can tell her what happened. And there was nothing else done with this letter, but it was very much mentioned of, that's why he said it in the letter. This kind of makes sense now. And I go, well, what was said? We need that letter.
That's a good point. And she didn't really seem to ever really think about the letter again. Like, what was it?
You know
me. I'd be like, what? If my dad said, like, Matt gave him a letter, I'd be like, what the hell did the letter say?
Right. I want to know every piece. I need to know everything.
I need to know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it'll come up in a later book. She'll be like, that letter. What did you say to my dad?
Yeah, right. They're just like floating in the sea. Oh yeah. Your dad said this. Yeah.
What was the second part?
The second part that I had was the Kindreds had their own deities back in their homeworld before they came to Amarion. And I'm really curious on if that is just a throwaway line or if that's going to be something
was their
that we
homeworld?
find out. I don't know. Nothing's mentioned.
Oh my God. It's giving mass verse.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very Crescent City where it's, we came from this world and we just decided to be here.
Yeah. We're going to go there.
We're going to go here. That. I like there. Looks sunny.
No, I'm sure that will come back up.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten too much about the Kindreds, like the original 9.
Yeah.
Luther seems to know a lot about them. He seems like he has studied up on our queen, Lumnos. He's obsessed. And I think, though, like what transpires at the end of the book, I think it will make Diem a little bit more curious of what happened because she didn't really know anything. She didn't know the rituals. She didn't know how like the Heartstone worked, anything. So I think it'll make her more intrigued to want to learn more about kind of what was going on. Even when he says like your eyes are the same as, like, she didn't really care. I'd be like, what does that mean?
Yeah, tell me more.
First with the gray eyes, like,
right.
Am I one of her?
Right. Am I her?
Can I do ancestry.com, like 23andMe?
I literally have that note in there at some point.
Like certain things, I'm just like, aren't you nosy?
Yeah, I am.
Like we're more nosy than she is.
That's where sometimes the I don't want to say dumbness, but that's really where she kind of plays into that part a bit more. It's just, I would be questioning it, but
yeah, you want to shake her.
Yeah, exactly. So the next section, we finally get to the Ascension Ball, and that is chapters 24 to 28, where we meet some folks from the different realms and get a little bit of that and some details there. So there were a few people we met that stood out to me, but what stood out specifically to you about this entire ball and everything?
How much I hate Henry. That was the highlight for me. I hate him.
Immediately was frustrated. Was so pissed.
Like, get the fuck out. First of all, I know she invited you, but then she sent you a note being like, sorry, you can't come. But very clear. For your safety, you cannot come. She was doing everything for them.
Yep.
Still. She was team guardian, even though I wanted to shake her. Mm-hmm. When he showed up in the lobby, he's like, I'm about to be your king. I was like, get the fuck out. I was like, do we have a can of me and shoot him out? I'm like, I hate him so much. It would have been perfect if Saray just came in and just lit his ass on
Ripped
fire.
his head off. Oh.
Light him up. Like, like, he's not good for you. Burning him.
Burning him.
Could not. I hated him so much. And then, like, she was getting pissed with him. And
Yeah.
whenever she said put him in the dungeon, I was like, yes, finally.
That was so funny. And his fury of just, how dare you put me in the dungeon? I don't want to be here.
Yeah. I was so annoyed because she was like, did you not get my letter? And he's like, yeah, I got it, but I'm ignoring it. Like,
Do you not understand what the how much politics is going on over
Yeah.
here? I need to keep doing my part to be able to help you, you idiot.
and it was
Focus.
frustrating because he was like, you know, we have to attack now. Like, we have all of them in one room. We have to attack now. And she's like, there's literally kids in here. And he was like, they kill our kids. And she's like, and you're upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you going to do it back?
Yeah.
Our girl is rational. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then I understood she was like really making friends with these people. So she's like, I don't want my friends to die,
Right.
but I also want to protect you. And then at the end of the day, she was just like, you're going to attack a room that has so many people in it. You guys will never survive.
Yeah, they're coming after you. All
And
the
so, like,
mortals will be wiped out.
Yeah, she knew that they were going to get wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he doesn't even understand the risk that she took
No.
by the way she wanted Luther to do it. Because,
Mm-hmm.
and again, you have to love him when she's just like, I really don't want them to get hurt. I don't want anyone to know that they were here. I just
Yeah.
wanted to like go away. And he was like, okay, we'll find a way. And he did. He was like, you know, as we mentioned, give the people of Umbros the ability to use their magic because they can control minds.
Yeah, they can read and control them. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, you know, but understand, like, they're going to be able to read the minds of everyone in this room. So, like, they're going to know all your secrets. And she was hiding a lot at that point because, like, she hadn't told about, you know, her mom, all that thing, the mortal stuff, all that jazz. And also, I think Luther knew she had this, like, ulterior motive.
100%.
He knew that she was planning something. He's like, they're going to know all your plans.
Yeah.
And she still did that to have a safer way to remove Henry and the Guardians. And he was a fucking asshole about it.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand. And I don't know if it's just blind rage that is causing him to just, I don't care what plans you're trying to help us out with. We're just going with what we want to do because we know best and everything. How do you expect to bomb them? Because I think they had from the armory explosion that we're going to do the same thing here. And that's going to be it. But no matter how many people you fight in there, it wasn't everyone. It's not like as if every single king and queen was there. They had, you know, representatives that came. So you still have a whole group of, you know,
like their
other realms
and stuff,
who are going to come at you at some point.
Yeah. And she definitely, at this point, I love where we end up with her character. She really understands fully, like, there are good and bad within both groups. And the one is not going to fix the problem, like, taking them out fully. She just has such good character development.
Agreed.
But yeah, he was just so annoying. And, like, even when he was like, well, we have to do the attack before you do the challenging. And she's like, okay, but you understand, like, I could die the challenging.
Right.
And then the power is going to, like, be all up for grabs. Like, it's going to cause way more problems. Like, he has no clue how the process works.
And he wasn't willing to listen.
No, and she's trying to explain it to him, like, we cannot do anything until this point.
Yep.
That's when it'll be safe for me. And he did not care. And I was like, this is red flag, like, number 1001. That he does not care about you if you're saying, like, doing it at any other point would be unsafe for me. Like, I probably would die.
Yep.
And he put your life, like, the mission of the group was above your life.
Yeah, I really think he thought that it didn't matter what happened to her. If he ended up being king somehow, that he would continue to be king. But 100% that they would immediately come after him because he doesn't have the
Any
crown
power,
on him or anything. It just...
Well, and yeah, because I think her crown would have just gone to the next person. It's like, he's just king by marriage. And I don't think he was understanding that.
No, and like I said, I just don't think he cared to pay attention and listen to her. It was very much I heard I could be king. I can do a lot with that power. I can take them down from within. All that stuff, which in reality, Dean was kind of thinking the same thing when she became queen of, I can do a lot of this, but she realized that there isn't just a one way or the highway, and there's a lot more to it. I need to go back in my notes specifically because there actually was a quote way back in the beginning, and it said that that's the problem with blind loyalty. It could be wielded by evil just as easily as good. And I think at the moment it was very specific about, where they could go with certain characters. But I just think that a lot of people on both sides are very much just blindly agreeing to things and saying, well, yeah, we want to stay this way because it's our way or the highway. And it's just,
yeah,
she's starting to see the light in both ways, and how can we blend them together. And Henry's just pure mortals have to be it, and that's it.
Yeah. And if this was English class, what a theme we could pull out of that one.
Yeah. Seriously.
That's all I'll say about it.
Seriously.
Yeah. He just, I hated him. And honestly, I think this moment was like this beginning of the end for them. I think this is really where she just was like, okay, come on. Because I think she was embarrassed by him and just like annoyed. And this is when she really started, like, she definitely had moments at the end of book 1 where she's like, okay, you're putting your agenda before me. But this was like, okay, no. Now she does still like give him moments when she lets them in to those secret passageways, which I was so frustrated by.
Oh, yeah.
But really outside of that, she starts to distance herself, whether it was intentional or not. Henry just is like never freaking around.
Yeah.
So I was just glad that like this was the start of the end.
Yeah.
And we'll see. The other just main moment at the ball, her whole dance with Luther. I was like,
you have a whole quote.
Got to be kidding me. I'm
kicking my feet over here.
I wish I could get like recordings off of my little dog camera I have in here, because I was like squealing, kicking my feet. It just reminded me of like back when you were in high school and like your crush would text you and say the nicest stuff to you, and you're like, and it's just like, that was, oh my god, I'm like, my toes are like curling just like even talking about it. Like,
I'm with you too.
I'm obsessed with them, and this was the moment I was just like, I can't, like, come on, can we get something?
You have to get rid of Henry, because Luther is literally 10 to Henry's 0 here at this point. Let's go.
But I thought a scene was gonna happen, like something was gonna happen between them after the ball.
I know.
Nothing.
Nope. No, I have to read the quote.
Please do.
Read the quote.
Let me relive it.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, let me get into character. So while they're dancing, he goes, "You are my queen and I am your sword. Point me at your enemies and watch them fall. Lead the Swarthium and I will follow you into war, into death, and into tundra of hell itself. You are the fate my heart was spared for. As long as it beats, you will never fight alone." I have chills again.
I can't.
No notes.
I literally cannot. I'm obsessed.
Okay.
And then it's like,
Xaden's been my number 1 for a long, long time, but Luther is getting to the point where I think he is just a little bit.
You think he's gonna pass Xaden?
Yeah, a little bit. Just because of how many things he just says. I know this is a hot take. I like my shadow daddies, but I guess he is a shadow daddy. That was the
hottest take. Yeah. He's on my top list, but he's not. He might be number 2. He might, like, Xaden is number 1, mainly because I'm sorry, like, my house, my chair, my woman.
Oh,
you can never replace that.
No.
But he might pass Rhysand from Akadar.
So I think in terms of the words that he uses, I would put him higher. But to your point, Xaden, in terms of the scenes that they have had and just the interactions, I don't think there's any topping that. With how slow burn this has been, there's no topping that.
Except, who knows? We could come back from book 3. I swear to fucking God, if there's not a scene in here, I'm going to rage because book 4 is not out. Like,
4 is called Heat, right?
Yeah, there better be heat.
There better be heat. I want it spicy. Are you
I might have to go
right now?
Yes. I'm sorry, I am. I just looked up, is there a spicy scene in Heat? I don't have any numbers, but all I just saw was someone saying the spice level really kicked up, and that's enough for me.
Okay,
I'm closing
enough.
it out.
I will take that.
Who
as
knows?
a win.
I mean, if this is what he says when they're just dancing in a ballroom in front of a bunch of people, just imagine what he's going to say behind closed doors.
I can't. Nope. Can't even imagine. Cannot even imagine.
I can't believe you think he's above Zayden. I'm clipping that.
You can clip it for sure, because it's just how he says things. It's just very much of, oh my God, I cannot believe you just said this. And also how she's not just falling at your feet.
Yeah, and she's like,
I'm sorry,
just thinking about the
what?
weenie in the dungeon.
Right. The weenie in the dungeon.
I can't. Oh my God, we have Henry in the dungeon with the Foresian steel. Like, no, I'm
Right.
sorry. I want Luther in the ballroom with the
Right.
words of silk. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
Exactly. And all these weird.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I was annoyed though that like she had to go to the ball with Eamon.
You know,
Like
I
that
will
they had to
say,
see that through.
I
He was a
hated that
good
he was great in it. In
schmoozer
my
for her,
opinion.
except
He
for the
was.
fact that he was starting to allude to everyone that they're mates, they're gonna have kids together. I was like,
Oh yeah, that part I just go, okay, you stepped it a little bit too much. I understand you're trying to get the throne here, but
this is really when I was like, he is slimy.
yeah, but
His intentions
the
are showing.
entrance, the helping her out and stuff, I said, okay, maybe he has some redeeming qualities that come out here and there, but then to your point, as soon as he started talking about future stuff, I go, yeah, there he goes with the rumors. They're done. And then I think he even tries to tell her, if they're hearing those, they won't hear anything about you being with a mortal guy. And just, yeah, that's what we want to hear more.
But like, I'm sorry, everyone witnessed what happened with her dancing with Luther, right?
How is no one
No
else
one
seeing?
has to be like, oh yeah, she's
No.
definitely getting with Eamon.
No.
I can't.
I'm sorry.
That scene. It was chapter 28. I know because I almost texted you. I was ahead of you at this point, and I almost texted you. I need a full 10 minutes on the pod dedicated to chapter 28. But then I didn't want to ruin it for you, like you counting now, because I hate when I know what chapter it's going to be in,
I know.
and then I'm just like, well, I'm on 13, so fuck these next 15. I just want to
Right,
get
I
to
don't
whatever I
care.
need to,
Yeah.
whatever that math is. And so I was like, I'm not going to say anything to her, but it was chapter 28, and
Oh, man.
I was obsessed.
She was so devastated too, because she thought she was gonna have the dance with Luther, and then Eamon's, oh, I'm gonna have you for the whole night, and then Luther basically just comes in and goes, no, I promised
dance
her
with the
that
queen?
last dance, bitch.
Oh my God. Yeah, I want literally though, like me, if I
man.
was writing this book and
Yeah.
like the state I was at with this slow burn,
Yeah.
it would have ended with him picking her up bridal style and just dragging her upstairs. Fuck the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he was like, okay, you have to like go continue mingling. I was like, I don't give a shit about these other realms.
This is where the whole meat thing is interesting, because if he gives too much of himself to her, would it be too much too fast? And you know what I mean? Because she's still in denial. She was in denial for being descended for so freaking long. She's going to be in denial for their relationship or whatever you want to call it forever. Because I think he even had mentioned that he didn't want marriage with her, but what he was trying to say was he wanted the next level up. And she just thought
Yeah,
of
she did not understand that, yeah.
He doesn't want me at all. No, honey. No. He doesn't want
Oh,
those
yeah,
basic things.
Yeah. Did we skip over that? Did the party happen between the friends, or is this after the ball?
Hold on one second. I think that this is
When she gets
the
jealous.
section right before she does have the get together, I think, with all of the cousins, and has to
Yeah,
learn the
okay.
house. Yeah, we did skip that, but yeah.
Just to like jump to that part. Oh my God, that was really real where I just got so irritated with Amos when he was like, oh yeah, like Luther invited her, didn't he tell you? Like Elena and the seating of them. I was like,
Yeah.
and she was so jealous, and I'm like, come on,
Oh, yeah.
dump Henry. We hate him.
And she also stands
Everyone
up.
hates him.
Agreed. And she also stands up for Luther because he has scars
The
still.
scars.
And she goes off
This
about how it
irritated me.
shows survival and it shows strength and everything. And it isn't something hideous. It's something to be proud of that you were able to survive it. And the fact that
Yeah, because they all go
should've
get it
gotten
like
rid of it.
removed.
But he kept it.
And
as a
Elena was
sign.
mad at him because he kept his scar, which I would have kept that scar too when we find out how he got it.
Also a reminder for everything that happened in your life. Yeah, I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I also have no clue. I mean, I know it's like in these chapters that we talked about. I
Yeah.
just can't remember like where, if it's during the dance or when, but Luther is talking to her, is talking to Diem kind of about like Lumnos and like that whole thing, because we know he's obsessed, and he says to her, more than any of the other kindred, blessed mother Lumos loved the mortals. She never wanted them forced into submission. She commanded her descended to guard them from harm, not be the cause of it, which I think is why he's so passionate about that too. But it's so interesting, like it started where it was supposed to be like this like coexistence thing.
Yep.
And then he said, even before you had the crown, I felt her urging me toward you. So I think that's why like book 1 felt abrupt to us, but like, this was going on behind the scenes for him.
Yeah.
And he says, the more I see of you, the more I understand why. She wants change and she believes you can achieve it. And so do I. And I'm obsessed. He's building her up. And just like the quotes too in the beginning, when he's saying like, or she's like, didn't you always want the crown? Like, aren't you, like basically being like, aren't you resentful that like I got it and you didn't?
Yeah.
And he was like, I never wanted to have the crown. I wanted to serve the crown. Because I kind of thought that too. Like, wouldn't he be like a little bit jealous? But he was like, no, I never wanted it. I just wanted to do work with it to create change. Like, I don't care how we get the change. I just want to make it happen.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, and it could be because Lumnos had given him that information about, you know, he will help a queen down the line, and I think that's at some point later on. But basically I think because, like you said, a lot of it felt abrupt for us, but because he's been getting pieces of this in the past before Diem actually gets to this point, I think he probably shaped himself into that of, yeah, I'm never going to have the crown, I'm okay with serving it because there's going to be someone who is going to be worth serving the crown with and be there for and make this a better area. So I mean,
yeah. And I just love that he's like, and since you're the crown, like I want nothing more than to serve you.
Right.
And I'm like, could you start serving her?
Yeah. I think it was earlier, there was a point where he literally said the only person I'd get on my knees for is the queen, and it just was, oh my god. Or it's
yeah,
later,
and that comes
I
back
forget where that was.
That comes back in the bonus chapters, and she's like, then kneel, bitch.
Yeah.
And we all know what she meant by that.
Yeah. Oh man, no, it was so good.
It's just, oh my god, it's such a slow burn. Really, I can't think of anything else that happens at the ball.
The only thing I have
except
to
we
say,
get confirmation, I think, that the old woman is the queen.
The only thing I have to say was the orb of answering. Did you just picture a magic 8-ball? Like,
I guess
you ask it questions, it'll say yes or no.
I guess maybe I pictured it more like, yeah, I guess maybe I was like, I just pictured like an orb that like lit up.
Yeah, and I'm just picturing it.
I don't know.
The diamond that says, you know, will my coworkers be smarter today? No. God damn it! Like that all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, because she asks it those questions, and then we get confirmation that, like, her first question, like, this is really when, because it had been a while since she talked about her mom.
Yeah.
And just one point about that. That was the only thing that annoyed me about Luther, is he was like, I will keep secrets. Like that.
Yeah.
Like I keep my promises, basically. And he was like, I promised your mom I wouldn't tell her until, you know, a certain thing. And Diem would keep cutting him off so he couldn't finish his sentence, because she was like frustrated, like, you're not going to tell me. And I'm like, okay, if you just let him finish her sentence, you might get a piece of information.
Right.
But it was so annoying that like he knew and then she kept asking, like, he was like, I promised your mom. And I was like, just tell her, like, screw the mom's promise, just tell her, like, we don't care, mom's nowhere to be found.
Right.
So that kind of annoyed me about him, but you know,
agreed.
We all have to have a flaw.
I know there has to be something here that we're annoyed about. But the whole thing, I mean, the ball was interesting because we obviously get more I guess a hint at each of the realms with their representatives and stuff. And
Yeah, because they
you know,
brought her all those like
that-
random gifts.
Yeah, the gifts, they all have to mean something. I
It
thought
was giving Onyx Storm.
it was totally giving Onyx Storm, and I really liked
Yeah, and the only one
big-
she used so far is
Was
the
the orb.
orb, right?
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
only other one that indirectly is used is the one from Umbros. And he goes, yeah, you already have your, you already have our gift of the fact that she basically stopped taking flame root and ended up in this situation.
Yeah,
So,
you're welcome. We gave you
yeah.
your current position.
Yeah. I love how, like, I forget the guy's name. I have it written down somewhere. Simon, yeah. How he was getting into her mind and just doing all these crazy visuals and everything. I go, oh my God, what?
That
and
was
then,
crazy. I
and
was
she
like,
put a
okay.
shield up and basically said, no, you're not allowed to get into my head anymore. So I go, oh my God, what?
That was wild. Also, that's
Yeah.
another thing like that happens in Zodiac. So I was like, oh, interesting. There's like a
Yeah.
few things. And then like, yeah, she went to the healers one day.
Yeah.
And that might be later in the book, but when she walked in, she says, it's a beautiful day to save lives,
Yeah.
which is a quote from Grey's Anatomy. So I was like, oh, I love all these like random like other books, other TV shows. It was just like a fun little Easter egg. But yeah, because I think it's later because then she sees, what's her name? Lana.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
I forgot about that though, that guy like giving her those images. I was like, ooh.
yeah. Oh,
You know, the only spicy scenes we've gotten is her and Henry and that.
yeah. They were not.
Like, I don't want
great.
either of them.
No, no. The other thing I completely forgot about, I was just looking at my notes. She gets a compass that points towards your heart's most desired thing, and it does become important in a few chapters. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. Another thing of,
And the compass
here's a
was going all over
compass.
the place.
Right. And she thinks
Just
it's going to
saying.
Henry, and I go, oh, please, honey, no. We all know the compass is not pointing in his direction. It's probably running away from him.
It's
saying
actually telling
toodaloo.
you. It's saying, this is not what you want.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but not what your heart wants.
Yeah, I honestly think it was probably, it was so annoying because I was like, come on, like this man
Yeah.
is giving you poetry.
Poetry.
He's pouring his heart out to you. Everyone around him is like, are you dumb? Are you
Yeah.
blind? Like, what is going on? Like, everyone can see it. I think, though, for her, like, she knew she didn't like Henry. She knew she didn't want to be with him. I think it was just, like, it was the last part of her former life that she was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to
And- yeah.
break it off, which I get. But I'm like, ugh, he's such dead weight. He's so losery.
He really is.
Like,
He really
just
is.
like you're having this great time, this grand old ball, and he's sitting in a dungeon like a loser.
The
Except we
wiener
find
in the
out Luther.
dungeon.
It's literally what he is. He could not. Like, you're a loser. Your fiance locked you up because she's so embarrassed by you. Just think
Yeah.
about that.
Right. Yeah.
Could you?
You're going in
Could you
timeout.
imagine?
In a
I'm
literal
putting
dungeon.
you in in a gross, dark dungeon because I can't trust you to just
Right.
do the right thing. Like, I can't. And then we find out, like, Luther, again, being a gem, he's like, well, I knew you wouldn't want to come out of the ball knowing that he was still in the dungeon, so I let him out hours ago.
Yeah. Such a good guy.
And I'm like, look at him. He's anticipating your needs.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, come on. It's,
So good. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
only the first half of the book.
I know, we haven't even gotten to more of the interesting parts.
Yeah. But this is a good place to cut it because
Yeah.
this is, I think, where I finished my first, like, reading session.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Just end on a high of,
Oh, yeah. That was
Squeals.
a very good ending of just, okay, next chapter, I'm
Yeah.
taking a pause. Thank you.
yes.
All right. So I guess we can outro out. So in our next episode, wow, shocker, we'll be doing the part 2 of this and covering the rest of the chapters from chapter 29 right through the epilogue. And then I guess for anything else, Booktroverts follows on Instagram and TikTok, even our Fable Book Club at Booktroverts Pod. We'd love to hear your thoughts and everything else, but stay tuned.
And in the next episode, because Meg was able to find it, sign up for a newsletter, somehow get access to some bonus chapters. So
Yes.
we are going to talk about it because there are some like kind of key pieces that are in the bonus chapters that I was like, hello.
I was gonna say, if those weren't mentioned in the bonus chapters, how do you find out?
How we
about it?
know?
Right.
Yeah. So we will be talking about that. It's like 2 chapters, and it's in between the challenging and her like coronation. So
Yep.
that will be in there as well.
Exactly.
But with that, bye.
Bye, everyone.